And to your staff, I just want to thank you on behalf of all victims of crime and their families for just setting aside this time to acknowledge us. Americans seem to have a very uneasy fascination with crime. I always found myself intrigued by unsolved mysteries and forensic files. That was until my life as a happy, independent, purposeful woman was suddenly interrupted by a man obsessed. My happiness turned to sorrow, independence to subordination, and a life of purpose became pointless and unpredictable. The sheer terror of being hunted and tracked and preyed upon and stalked changed everything. Imagine your smartphone alerting you that you have email, only to check it a half hour later to find that it has already been read. Imagine that your contacts have been stolen and now are receiving compromising photos that you never knew were taken, along with disparaging comments. Imagine the horror of the hunt culminating in a grisly attempt to end your life. This was just the beginning of my story as a victim. On March 1st, 2011, I was tracked again by my stalker to the home of an acquaintance as I was preparing for my wedding, which was just 4 days away. As he walked through the door, he announced his intention. "You have to die," he said, as he pulled out a hunting knife, stabbing me, not once, not twice, but 28 separate times, with wounds to my liver and lungs and with a severed artery in my neck. My attacker left me for dead. I began to call out the name of Jesus until I realized how much I was bleeding. And thank God I had enough presence of mind to continue my anxious prayer silently. It was just moments before police officers arrived and began attending to my wounds. I heard them say, "We are not going to lose you." And that is when I faded into unconsciousness. I am told that 3 surgeons operated simultaneously to save my life, repairing my internal organs and my carotid artery. I woke up from a coma on the 3rd day to the smiling faces of my family, my fiance, my doctors, detectives, and an overwhelming sense of relief. I was so overjoyed to be alive. I was also under the influence of morphine, that it took a day for me to realize that I could not feel my legs. A CAT scan confirmed what I dreaded. There was a bruising and a lesion to my spinal cord. I was diagnosed a paraplegic. I was transferred almost immediately to Kessler Institute for Rehabilitation, and that's where my reality set in. I recall waking up one morning and wheeling myself out of the bed into the bathroom to begin my morning routine. Try as I might, nothing happened. I was really paralyzed. Suddenly my thoughts were interrupted. "Marcia," they changed my name to protect my identity. "Do you need a diaper change before our shift changes?" I was shocked into my new reality. As the hospital routine progressed, I met with my doctor. And so I said, "Well, how soon do you think I'm gonna walk?" And looking off way into the distance, she replied, "Mrs. West, spinal cord injuries are very, very tricky." She offered me no hope for walking again. But I have always believed that no matter what the situation, there are always options. So I began to mentally review my options. But more than anything, to tell the truth, I was angry. I was frustrated, I was ashamed, and I was unsure of myself. But I realized to remain angry and frustrated would simply allow my attacker to continue to control my life. And I was sure that that was not an option. It was my faith that allowed me to choose to release my attacker and begin to work through the process of forgiveness. Now be assured, forgiveness has nothing to do with absolving him from his crime, but it was far more about me, relieving myself from the burden, the pain, and the helplessness of being a victim. I not only chose to forgive him, but more than anything, I chose to forgive myself. Because like many victims, I turned in on myself. I rehearsed all the could haves and the would haves and the should haves. I know what it's like to live in the shadow of the attack. I was angry because my attacker tried to end my story by ending my life. I was angry because even though I survived, it seemed that people were writing me off as if my life was over, as if I was never supposed to recover from this horror. And I was angry because no one knew my story and no one cared about my story. I knew that I had to make a choice. And so I decided that since I didn't die at his hands, then I would not be defeated by my own. I determined that this terrifying, heinous event would only be a chapter in my life and not the end of my story. I determined that if I wanted a happy ending, I'd have to write my own story, and I determined that without a shadow of a doubt that my story would be a story worth knowing. In a world that is at once both beautiful and horrible, I had to make a choice. After all, I always have options. I had to make a choice, and so can you. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter where you've been. If you are here today, you are not a victim. As a matter of fact, if you are here today, you already have victory written into your history. If you are here, you are alive, and with life, there's possibilities. So I encourage you to live your possibilities, to choose to be a victorious survivor. Now, I would be misleading you if I did not say that my strength and my healing are grounded in my faith in Jesus Christ. I have a superhero for a husband and fantastic support from my family and friends. I would also be misleading you if I didn't confess that every day I still have to make a conscious choice to live fully in the world. In the face of my many physical challenges, in the face of PTSD, in the face of a trial that was designed to make me ashamed and keep me silent, a trial that still haunts me. I make a choice every day to write my own story, because being challenged in life is something we can all count on. Being defeated is optional. I'll never forget what I've been through. And if you're anything like me, there are scars, emotional scars, physical scars that remind you every day. But I'm also reminded that scars only form on living things. So every day, when I see the scar on my neck and my torso and my arms, I know that I'm alive. And if you're sitting in this space, you are alive too. And by the grace of God, we are here, and we get to decide how our stories end. I could never write my story without including the Patterson Police Department and the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office, who demonstrated the highest level of professionalism. Now, I have to confess again that I thought I would just be another number on the crime roster. But there was not one person that I came in contact with that did not sincerely care about me and my family. They are the people who are not only written into my story, but they are written into my heart. They are the major characters, the protagonists, if you will, the good guys of my story. There is police officer Alba, who removed his own shirt to bind my wounds while assuring me that I would make it. There is the now retired Detective Hernandez, who recognized my anger and my hypervigilance and talked me out of my vigilante madness. There is Joan Nixon, who was always available for my questions and flawlessly walked me through paperwork and procedure as recently as Monday. There is Michelle Brownlee. She was the angel who never left my side during a daunting and disturbing trial. And there is Chief Assistant Prosecutor Gina Fun, whose profound passion, proficiency, commitment to justice made a pointed difference in the resolution of my trial for me and my family. Thank you. All of you who work on behalf of crime victims throughout this state, thank you. It is because of your dedicated service that not only I, but many victims of crime can end their stories in victory. In closing, I'd like to remind us all that life is really not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. And we've only got 3 choices. We can give up, we can give in, or we can give it all we've got. Thank you.